Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing our series on Aristotle's Poetics, looking at the origins of theater, focusing on the third of Aristotle's three major distinctions within the world of art and the world of poetry, the distinction of manner. So, according to Aristotle, theater evolved from the much older art of epic poetry. The important difference between epic poetry and theater was the manner of imitation. Along with method and object, manner is the third of Aristotle's main distinctions between types of art. While the medium of presentation has to do with the exact skill or substance that is used to create the art, and the object focuses on what is being imitated, the manner is about the way that the object is imitated. For poetry, this is the distinction between a single person telling a story and actors depicting an action. It is a difference between telling, as an epic poem would, and showing, as a performance would. As we didn't have kind of the world of novels and these things in Aristotle's day, this was the main distinction he was looking at in terms of a single person telling a story and actors portraying a story on stage. Though today we would probably say that manner would have to do with the distinction between a novel and a play or short story even as well. Now, according to Aristotle, this has to do with the origin of theater. Theater comes from a change in the manner of epic poetry. When you think about epic poetry, think about the Odyssey, the Iliad, Homer, those kinds of things. From a single person telling a story to more and more characters interacting and showing the story instead. This manner of imitation is what makes theater distinct from epic poetry. Aristotle cites the playwright Aeschylus as taking epic poetry from simply being a speaker and a chorus to include a second speaker, and therefore allow for dialogue and diminish the role of the chorus. According to Aristotle, Sophocles took this step further, adding a third actor and further diminishing the importance of the chorus. So, according to Aristotle, theater kind of evolves out of epic poetry by slowly adding more people to talk and correspond with throughout the telling of a story, and slowly moving from the narrative structure to an actual portrayal of what's happening, as opposed to just telling you what's happening. Therefore, according to Aristotle, here are the three main distinctions of the arts of imitation and how they split out. So we first have medium. You have painting and sculpture that classifies the visual arts, as well as rhythm, harmony, and language, which is what Aristotle's talking about when he talks about poetry. Though Aristotle specifically cares about those that include language, though they may also include rhythm and harmony as well. Next, we have object. The object splits out between a portrayal or an imitation of humans exactly as they are, which fits into history. Humans as worse than they are, which fits into something that looks more like comedy. And humans as better than they are, which looks like tragedy. And finally, the manner of portrayal, whether it's telling a story, an individual narrating a story, or depicting a story, theater, multiple individuals engaging back and forth to showcase a story and depict that story. The majority of Aristotle's text is focused on arts of imitation that land in the medium of language, focused on portraying humans as better than they are, i.e. tragedy, and those that depict a story instead of narrating it directly, i.e. theater. He does include comparisons to comedy and epic poetry, but tragic theater is his main focus here. It is said that Aristotle also wrote a similar treatise or a similar set of lecture notes on comedy, though unfortunately that is lost to the sands of time. So, with the remainder of this series, now that we've kind of taken the first step of talking a little bit about what Aristotle is doing with the Poetics and some of his main distinctions and how important they were in terms of separating out some of the artistic forms that we now take for granted are separate forms of art, we're going to focus down on what he said about tragedy and how he said tragedy should be correctly done. So to start this off, we will look at Aristotle's elements of tragedy. Aristotle defines 6 elements specifically of tragedy that he says all good tragedies should have, and he ranks them in order of importance, ranking importantly plot and character as more important than things like thought or the ideas that are present within the tragedy. So check out that video coming up soon, and watch this video and more here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.